When you look in your crystal ball for the next iteration of what a fixed index annuity can be, what do you think it can? What do you think it can be? Where's the sky?
Well, what I look at is where are the needs of retirement, right? Some people might have, you might have others on the podcast saying, well, when are we going to get crypto in, right? And different type of assets. And that's a different conversation. But what we're looking at too is realizing how do we create annuities that are really specialized to the specific need of the retirement plan. So we're looking at how to think about really better budgeting of medical inflation. We're working on something right now that looks at medical inflation and how can we put that as an allocation within an annuity to budget for someone's needs. That's something that is really a necessity as opposed to a shiny object. So what we're looking at is how to broaden, going back to what your comment was, Cheryl, how to get more access to the right type of product for the right distribution channel, because American retirees, we talked in our last meeting, that they might not have all the access to the private banker. Mm-hmm. They might have to have access to the corner banker, to the agent down the street, to an RIA, all the above. And I know in impact marketing, you work and really have a lot of great outreach in specific cities and markets. And we want to serve them. So how do we get the right wrapper with our hand on our heart to that person to help at least one part of the retirement process so more Americans can be served? Not that they're putting all their money in this thing. That's not what I'm saying. But they can get more access, and access that's imperative to what their needs are in retirement.
Is long-term care the sort of the elephant in the room in terms of how retirement planning is going to evolve?
Well, medical inflation, I think, is definitely going to continue to be an issue. Medical costs, right? And we hear that those issues right now. Medical costs are a big political debate in Washington. What I would say is neither side have the right are agreeing, but both sides agree that we have an issue. If you hear it loud and clear and how to tackle it and to the right group. So we're not going to get into that today, but how do you solve for that? And then how do you solve for people that are having medical care needs in their 90s, right? So is that bringing an element of long-term, lifetime income to help them figure that out? Then the other part is planning for financial legacy. And I'm not talking about trust fund babies here. We see the demographic right now of that we talked about in our last meeting, the first-time home buyers in their late 30s. There's a fear that AI, as much as AI is exciting, AI could maybe make entry-level jobs harder to get. How are you going to maybe help make sure your grandchildren funded? This is starting to be an issue that's losing the sleeping point of people. Isn't just the market now. It's making sure that they feel that their grandchildren are well taken care of. So I'm starting to hear this more of not a narrative, a cry for retirees that they're really trying to worry about the legacy of their family, and even at a middle class level. So I think legacy planning as well is also an issue, but they also have to think of themselves first, not to be selfish, but that includes making sure that they have the means to take care of themselves as they live longer.